Hi, my name is Martin Hgginson, Executive Chairman of Huddled Group plc. Welcome. I've often talked about growing a business from scratch and doing this in the public eye as a PLC. Our fail-fast strategy and the need for constant change and evolution is something I know and accept can sometimes, as a shareholder, be difficult and frustrating. I want to talk to you today about what has genuinely been the most important 6 months in Huddle's history. Not because the numbers are the best we've ever posted, they're not, but because what we've built during this period is something we've never had before. And what is that? Well, it's a business that actually works. I know some of you have been really patient, and I know the share price has been frustrating. So today I want to be completely straight with you. Tell you what we did, why we did it, and why I'm genuinely excited about what comes next. So let's get into it. Let me start with something that I think is important to say out loud. When this business scaled in the past, and we did scale, we had days where we were doing amazing revenues. We were on ITV, we saw orders coming, in thick and fast. But when we scaled, things broke. Orders were delayed, items went missing. Customers who had bought from us on the promise of a great deal and great service were sadly let down. And here's the thing about letting a customer down, especially in e-commerce. They often don't write to complain, they just don't come back. So what we had was a business that was brilliant at acquiring customers and terrible at keeping them. We were pouring money into marketing, driving people to the site, taking their orders, and then for whatever reason the fulfillment operation simply couldn't cope. We had temporary staff that we brought in to handle the surge, and these people were unfamiliar with the processes and they made mistakes. Deliveries were delayed. Wrong items were often sent, resulting in disappointed customers. I just can't dress that up. That was a reality. And until we fixed it, there was absolutely no point in spending another penny on marketing. After all, you don't fill a leaking bucket. So we made a decision that I know was uncomfortable for shareholders, and I understand why. We deliberately pulled back on revenue. We stopped chasing orders we just couldn't fulfill properly. We took our foot off the marketing accelerator. And the result, is Q1 revenues were 4.2 million. And that wasn't a growth, it was actually slightly behind the same period last year. But we don't see this as a failure. We see it as actually part of the plan. Because what we were doing during that time was rebuilding the engine. We'd moved our entire fulfillment operation to THG Fulfill, one of the most sophisticated robotic fulfillment operations in the country. Their technology means orders placed before 11 p.m. at night are delivered the next day. Not most of the time, but 99% of the time. And that includes weekends and bank holidays. We also restructured what we sold. We removed hundreds of single, low-value items from our range. Items where the cost to pick, pack and post was greater than the margin we actually made on the sale. We've moved from average orders of 12 items per order to 5.8 items per order, which means fewer picks, better margin, faster fulfillment, and what's more important in moving to more of a bulk buy operation is our gross profit per item sold has more than doubled. And critically, and I want to share this, I want all shareholders to hear this, we now make a profit on every single item we sell, every one. This is a fundamental change from where we were, only a few months ago. So let me give you a number that I think tells the whole story of what we've achieved and why we've done it. In January this year, our margin per item sold on Pico was around £1.40. In May, it was circa £3. That's an improvement of over 100% in 5 months. Now, that's not luck. That's not a one-off. This is a result of systematically removing every structural weakness from the business, one by one, over 6 months. The model we've landed on, and the best way I can describe it, is think of us as an online Costco, a curated selection of big brand surplus stock, sold primarily in bulk at genuinely compelling prices, with the occasional extraordinary middle aisle type deal that makes customers feel they've found something really special. Not thousands of cheap single items, just quality products, real brands, real value, every single one making us money. Our total orders for the first 4 months of 2026 exceeded 130,000. But what excites me more than that number, is what's happening to the retention curve. Because every one of those orders was delivered the very next day. No delays, no inaccuracies, just swift, tracked delivery. So let's talk about the retention story. And this is the bit I'm excited about, and I really want shareholders to understand, because I think it's the most important thing happening in this business right now. When you acquire a customer in retail, especially e-commerce, the first order rarely makes you much money. That's just the reality of the economics of the business we're in. The cost of acquisition, your marketing spend, your offers often exceed the profit on order 1. Now that's just accepted. That's fine. But what matters is what happens on order 2, 3 and 4. For a long time at Huddled, there wasn't much of an order 3 and 4 because order 1 had been or order 2 had been a disappointment. Wrong items, late delivery. Whatever it was, the customer had moved on. What we're seeing now, since we moved to THG Fulfill and since we got the product range and the margin right, is a genuinely different picture. Customers are coming back. Obviously not all of them, but enough of them, consistently enough, that the retention curve is moving in the right direction. And this is for the very first time. Our Trustpilot scores tell the same story. Pico has gone from 22,000 reviews and a score of 4 stars to over 27,000 reviews and 4.6 stars in only a few months. NutriCircle is at 4.7 stars and both are rated excellent. Now, these are not just numbers we've manufactured. These are real customers telling us that the experience that we've given them has improved. And that matters enormously for what we do next, because it means we can now start spending on marketing with confidence. We know the product is right. We know the delivery is right. We know customers who've had a good experience definitely do come back. So the bucket no longer leaks. Now we can fill it. So let's talk a little bit about Boop Beauty. And I want you to sort of try and understand the story of what happened there and what we've done. And it's basically about how this management team operates. I talked earlier about our fail fast approach. Now, since we acquired Boop, we've had the same conversation with many of the suppliers, many of the cosmetics brands. They all had surplus stock, end of line, short dated, overproduction, whatever it was. They had stock that they needed to convert into cash. And we were the obvious solution, except they kept saying no, or they'd agree and then they'd pull back. The reasons were always the same. They didn't want to see their £40 premium serum sitting on a discount website with a big red label, was £40, now £12. The brand damage in their view was just not worth the cash that they'd recover. Now, for a while we accepted that, and we accepted it as a barrier we couldn't get around. And then we asked ourselves a very simple question. What if we didn't show the individual price at all? What if instead of selling a discounted serum, we sold a box of different products? A beautifully curated collection of premium cosmetics. No single hero product, no individual price comparison, just genuinely exciting selection of great branded products at a price that represented exceptional value. So we tried it. The brands loved it. No individual products was being discounted or heroed. Their positioning was protected. And our customers, particularly those on TikTok, absolutely loved it. In May, we launched a premium beauty box on TikTok, and it sold out in 2 days. The gross margins per order were great, just over 10 quid, and one of the best margins in Boop's history. So we now have stock in place to produce over 10,000 beauty boxes. We've now been whitelisted on TikTok, and we've moved this channel to be only about beauty. So we've stopped doing sort of things like grocery on TikTok. They didn't understand short-dated grocery, so let's just focus it on what they love, this is being the beauty box. The supplier relationships are now locked in. The audience fits, we know that's perfect and it's proven. So this is one of the most exciting growth opportunities we have. And it's not by default, this is now by design. So beyond Pico and NutriCircle and the beauty box, we've also been quietly building something else, which we've talked about before, a multi-channel presence that I'm confident will become increasingly more significant and important over the next 12 months. It's all about layering, and whilst it's still early days, the signs are definitely encouraging. We're generating over £5 margin per item sold on Temu, around about £3, albeit early days on Amazon. And as I said before, TikTok has now moved to focus purely on the beauty box. These channels are all now at a point about where we're going to build the volume. It's not about proving the concept, it's just about growing it. And then there's channels like the live auction channels. Think of this as like QVC meets social media. And we signed partnerships with eBay Live to develop a dedicated FMCG live channel, selling groceries, cosmetics, mid-aisle bargains. And these will all be sold through live auction formats. Live commerce is the fastest growing retail format in the world right now, and we are right at the front of it in the UK. We've also been testing Whatnot, the global leader in live auction platforms, and the results have been really, really encouraging. And what Whatnot has agreed to let us do is fulfill directly from the THG warehouse. And this isn't something that they normally do. Normally they insist on handling all the last mile deliveries themselves. But they've made an exception for us. And that means we can offer over 400 products on this platform with next day delivery on orders placed up to 11 p.m. And this is a significant agreement for us, and one that we're proud of, and we're going to keep trying to grow and build. So let me finish with this. Look, I've been doing these podcasts for a while, and I know some of you watched me talk about what this business was going to become and wondered actually whether we'd ever get there. I'm sure you've all thought that. But to be honest, I think we've come a long, long way over the last few months. And I actually think we're there. I've said to somebody before, the business has never been in the better shape than where it is today. And we've actually had days in May where we've actually broken even at group level. Every overhead, every salary, every cost covered by the trading activity. Now, I don't want you to get overexcited. It's only been the odd day. But the important thing is we've done it. We've broken through that glass ceiling and proved it can be done. And we did it while we're still in the early stages of rebuilding. So this gives us real confidence. The barriers to entry in this business are huge, without any shadow of a doubt. It's been a very complicated business. Supplier relationships, fulfillment infrastructure, channel agreements, database building. All of these things have taken us years of hard yards. But we've done it. And the hard part's behind us. Today we have a great value proposition. We have next day delivery that actually works. We have customers who are coming back, and the Trustpilot reviews prove that. We have new channels generating real margin. And we have, as I talked before about, we have the beauty box that sold out in 2 days. Well, like I said, building a business from scratch in the public markets is hard. But the exciting part is what comes next. So thank you, as always, for your continued support. It means a lot, and it means more than you know. Thank you very much.